So quite often we show you many different skydiving disciplines. Sometimes it's base jumping, sometimes wingsuit proximity flying. But wait, what if we combine both of them and add some aerobatics too? Well, we get this. Combining aerobatic flying with wingsuit and base introduces so many new elements in timing, speed and general awareness, backed by many hours of flying indoors and thousands of skydives for practice. And this is the efficient performance by the FLB wingsuit team. It's so good to see all the latest techniques in all areas of aviation, and this is just the beginning of a brand new Air Sports News episode. And I'm your host, REGAN TETLOW. Let's go. Sarajevo Cross Country Race 2021 is the closest paragliding event in the FAI calendar this year, and tomorrow more than 35 pilots will begin an amazing journey across Bosnia and Herzegovina airspace. The National Aero Club of this country and Extreme Sports Club Sarajevo claims that it will be the biggest paragliding event in the Balkans this year. The list of foreign countries is quite long. They come from the Czech Republic, the Croatia, France and Serbia. Sarajevo is the political, financial, social and cultural centre of Bosnia and Herzegovina and a prominent centre of culture in the Balkans. Due to its long history of religious and cultural diversity, Sarajevo is sometimes called the Jerusalem of Europe. We have the 2021 FAI CIA Hall of Fame inductees announced. CIA Hall of Fame is a very high honour in the ballooning community, and we're joining in the congratulations for two amazing ballooning athletes. Wilhelm Willy Eimers has flown more than 1,400 gas balloon flights since he received his licence in 1979. He has spent about 10,000 hours aloft and is probably best known, however, as a Coupe Aeronautic Gordon Bennett pilot, where he has flown a total of 30,551 kilometres in 1,270 hours and 33 minutes. Wow. He has won the Gordon Bennett 4 times and placed second 9 times. Congratulations also for Jim Winkers. He participated in the preparation, inflation, free flight and recovery of the first modern hot air balloon flight by inventor Ed Yost in Bruning in 1960. He held over a dozen patents for scientific balloons, parachutes and hot air balloons. So let's stay in the ballooning community for a while because of my first special guest this week. He represents quite an interesting organisation from here in Montreal called the Montreal Montgolfier, and it is Martin Underwood. So how was it last year with the COVID? Was that a problem or not?
We started the season a month and a half late.
Yeah.
But I managed to do 75% of my flight. So that's good.
Wow.
So at least we got a kind of a season, and people really appreciate it because in 2020 people need to get outside and do something special. So
yeah. So tell me about the flights. Tourist flights? Is it a pay-per flight? How does it work?
I got some tourists, maybe not last year, probably not this year too, but most of the people are local people.
Yeah.
And few tourists. They just call me, we book a date, we cross the finger, the weather is good, and I take care of them in flight for an hour of flight.
So it's an hour normally per flight, 1 hour?
Yeah, we don't do a small hop, we just do an hour flight for everybody, at least an hour, can be an hour 15, but it's an hour flight pretty much. We don't carry more fuel anyway, so yeah.
How many people? How big's the basket?
I decided to stop at 6 passengers. I'm used to fly a little bit bigger, but I didn't want to go with the quantity. I want to go with the quality. I like to have just enough people so I can take care of everybody.
Yeah.
When there's too much people, it's a great business, but people for me become numbers, and I'm looking for VIP flight. kind of.
More interesting content can be found from Martin right now on our YouTube channel, and he has promised me a flight when the weather improves, so hopefully we'll bring a report live from the basket. Due to the still uncertain COVID situation around the world, the FAI decided not to wait any longer with decisions which may help to organise air sports events that are currently maintaining COVID threats. The FAI Guidance protocol for COVID-19 affected events should be applied in conjunction with other available national and international advisory notices from health and government resources, and it's divided into 4 main sections: websites of bulletin rules, on-site facilities and service regulations, post-infection rules and matters eligible for national support. The FAI believes that with this document, organising aviation events around the globe will be easier and more unitary. The Ingenuity helicopter, which is the first rotorcraft on the surface of Mars, unlocked its rotor blades a few days ago, allowing them to spin freely. Unfortunately, during a high-speed spin test of the rotors last Friday, the command sequence controlling the test ended early due to a watchdog timer expiration. This occurred as it was trying to transition the flight computer from pre-flight to flight mode. The helicopter is safe and healthy and communicating its full telemetry set to Earth. The first takeoff is now delayed for a few more days, and actually the latest information at the time of recording is that the flight software needs to be rewritten, resent and re-uploaded, so fingers crossed to everybody in the team. Alright, let's do a quick jump from Mars back here to Earth and staying in the world of rotorcrafts. My second special guest this week can talk for hours about it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Katrina Harper. How did the helicopters start for you then?
I've always been interested in helicopters since a young age, I guess, seeing them flying over my house in Scotland, and I always wanted to fly them.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Seattle, I had the opportunity to do a lesson. Actually, one of the investors in the wind tunnel has a helicopter, and he let me fly it to Oshkosh, which is a huge aviation show in Minnesota? No, yeah. Wisconsin. I forget. It's in Oshkosh, the place called Oshkosh. And after that, I just put down $15,000 to get my private license. I was like, this is it. I'm doing it.
Amazing, amazing. Did you find it? Was it instinctive, or did it the actual process with the whole way it's flown? Did it feel natural to you, or did it feel not natural? Because some people just pick it up straight away, don't they?
Helicopter flying's a little bit more tricky. I think it's very similar to flying head down in the tunnel.
Right.
Have you learned to fly head down in the tunnel?
I've bounced off the walls, back flying, and that's about as far as I've got, Kat. It's
very similar because you have the same number of. You have to forward balance your x-axis and your y-axis, yeah. And most people spend a couple of hours just on the net before they're ever able to hover. Yes. It's exactly the same in a helicopter. You spend 15 hours going, this is not working, why is it not working? And then one day it just clicks and you don't know why it was so hard before, and then right. I don't know. So I don't know how to describe it. It's like that. It's very similar, or like belly flying in the wind.
Like some kind of muscle memory takes over.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Incredible. Did you do any fixed wing before helicopters, before rotors?
No, I've always just been obsessed with helicopters. I've done a little bit. I got to fly in an extra 300. It's
nice.
Like a very fast aircraft. Yeah. It was part of the air show display team called BMW Oracle.
Yeah.
So that's the aircraft I've been in.
And the full-length interview with Kat is now available on our Air Sports Promotion YouTube channel. UPS and its UPS Flight Forward subsidiary have announced plans to purchase up to 150 Beta Technologies ALIA 250 electric vertical takeoff and landing cargo aircraft. The first 10 aircraft, which will be used to support the company's small and mid-sized markets, are scheduled to begin arriving in 2024. Beta's ALIA 250 prototype completed its first interstate flight last month, travelling from the company's test facilities in Plattsburgh, New York, to its headquarters in Burlington, Vermont. The ALIA 250 is expected to have a cruise speed of up to 170 miles per hour, 250 miles range, and a recharge time of only 50 minutes. The The Pureglide YouTube channel released another amazing video which gives excellent tips and tricks for beginners and pro glider pilots. Flying with a glider with low cloud base is always tricky, but this time it turns out pretty well for intrepid Venture CT pilot flying an Enterprise task across the Canterbury Plains, dodging airspace, finding the ocean for bonus points, collecting turn points and thermaling with other gliders. This flight was a lot of fun and it's really worth a watch. And now let's move on to our Hero of the Week section. 36 years after their inception, the Blue Angels set out to have an iconic 1982 airshow season, including a historic return to Hawaii. Yet the aviation community would be rocked by immense tragedy during winter training of that year when the Air Force Thunderbirds lost 4 pilots in what is known as the Diamond Crash. Only weeks later, the Blue Angels suffered their own loss when lead solo pilot Stu Priory's plane crashed in the desert of El Centro, California. This story and much more interesting facts can be found in an amazing documentary video called Rise Above, which can be found on the YouTube channel. Produced and directed by Ryan Northart, it is a tribute to one of the most recognizable air display teams ever. On the 11th of April 1981, Space Shuttle Columbia lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center on mission STS-1, the very first orbital flight of the series of reusable space vehicles. On board were mission commander John Watts Young and shuttle pilot Robert L. Crippen. Columbia had completed 37 orbits. The total mission duration was 2 days, 6 hours, 20 minutes, 53 seconds, and I remember watching it live in class at school. Alan and Malcolm Lowhead set speed and distance records as they flew their twin-engine 10-place F-1 flying boat from Santa Barbara to San Diego. The F-1 travelled 211 miles in 3 hours 1 minute. The airplane was intended for the US Navy, but the end of World War I ended the requirement for new airplanes. Also on the 11th of April 1934, Renato Donati of Italy's Regina Aeronautica flew a modified 2-place biplane named Alta Quota to the FAI world altitude record of 47,352 feet. At such high altitudes, airmen not only must be provided with oxygen, but it must also be under positive pressure. That's it for this week. News at airsportspromotion.com email is waiting for you as always. airsportsfan.com platform is there too. And you can write to me if you want via Twitter. So we'll see you next week. But before that, let's just see this amazing tandem base jump performed by Dennis Moab and his passenger. Stay safe, and as always, keep your eyes on the skies.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Base jump my left.
Here we go, it's season 6, episode 3. And before we start, a big thank you to my wonderful girlfriend Lise, who manages to get this shirt fresh and sparkly white every week. I don't know how she does it. Magic.